Kyle, what is going on, brother? I appreciate you jumping on this podcast. I got to ask, man, are you ready to let it rip?
Yeah, man. Let's let it rip.
Let's rip. Awesome, bro. Well, dude, Kyle, I don't want to lie and say I've been following you since the beginning. You and I had met last year at one of Keith Hackey. Is that how you say his last name?
Keith Yackey, Married Game.
Yeah. Dude, great guy, great group of individuals, man. But I know I had seen your stuff. I wasn't following you at the time, but nobody could miss the name Superhuman Fathers and what you have built in this. You are an OG. I want to say you're one of the pioneers in this space, and you're up there with some of the realest dudes I see. I've now been able to meet you in person, and everything aligned with how you are in person to what you showcase. And you showcase quite a bit behind the scenes. You're a faithful man. You're a skateboarder. You're an incredible dad. Your wife and you run an incredible business helping couples in their marriages, and just all around an awesome dude. So I want to get to know you. I want to know the highs, the lows. Like, we're going to get deep and peel some fucking layers back on this onion. So people that don't know you, bro, let's hear your story, Kyle.
Yeah, man. Grew up in the 90s in Oceanside, punk rock generation. Skateboard till your knees break and your elbows are bleeding. And that was it. It was punk rock, skateboarding, surfing. And I was always outside of the inside a little bit, though. Like, I was raised Mormon. So, and I was like fully in. So I was surrounded by the debauchery and just never partook. I was the guy that was like, is homie still breathing? You know? But I was there. It was a really interesting way to grow up, dude, because I was outside of it watching it, and I was always trying to extract my buddies from their terrible decisions all the time.
Yeah.
But fully embracing them as a brother. And that continued through my life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how fucked up you are. You're my brother. I don't care. I just don't. Like, men are men, man. We have struggles and shit. And so I learned that when I was young, and I always had compassion and empathy for just real life. So I went on a mission, did that whole thing, got married in the temple, Mormon style. You always come home and then you got to find your wife right away. So, cause like you got like baby making time to do, and you haven't been laid. So it's like, it's game time.
Curiosity. Like, so was the Mormon faith pretty like significant in the, you said Oceanside area, or like, was there a big community of the Mormon faith there, or was it a little bit more of an outlier?
Massive, bro. California's massive. Arizona's massive. I think Arizona's like bigger than Utah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're hustlers, bro. Like, you know how many doors I knocked on my mission, dude?
I can imagine.
Hundreds of thousands, dude. Like, no one was getting out of anyone was in my way, they're getting pitched.
This is something that I've actually, Jake left, so I'm going to take fucking the reins on this one.
Good. Get out of here, Jake.
That's right. Something that I always wondered, because I know a lot of people who are in the Mormon faith. I do a lot of work in the Utah area, and they're all, like you said, fucking hustlers. Do you think a lot of that comes from having to find the confidence in just knocking on strangers' door and maintaining a quality conversation based on conviction?
Dude, my mission, like, I have zero connection with the Mormon faith anymore.
Yeah.
My belief system. But like, there are things that you're locked in to test, right? Like, you got to test things. You got to test honesty. You got to test hard work. You got to test ethics. You got to test stuff. And that it's like a compartment where if you live it, you're going to test all these truths.
Yeah.
And, you know, they try to hijack them and say that they're theirs, but really they're just universal truths of existence that work, right? And so, yeah, when you go on a mission, if you lock that in and you do that right, you will never be the same. And in any position in life, you get your back against the wall, you get pressure on you, you feel lonely, whatever, you'll be unstoppable your whole life. I always pull back to that, and I'm so happy that I did that. And the experience was insane. It was so good for me.
So culturally, putting the things together of like being raised punk rock, having a real like deep connection with brotherhood, family, and then the Mormon faith, how did all of that, like, I don't want to say how did it transpire, because it's just fucking adolescence growing into young adult, but it just like culturally, from my lack of understanding, being a punk rock Mormon seems kind of like counterintuitive.
Yeah, yeah. And I've been a little counterintuitive my whole life, but there was like this tension between like loving people where they're at and understanding them, and the self-righteousness that's created within a cult-like box, right? So I would find myself kind of swinging in and out of that. And I had an experience where one of the kids that I grew up with in church got involved in my same rough crowd, and he got swallowed up by it. And he just got involved in drugs and shit. And I remember clowning on him pretty hard, you know, and it was not the best way to get him to like listen to me. Like, I know now, like, if I have a way of looking at life and I want to share that with someone, the best way to do that is build a relationship of trust and acceptance, and then let life happen, and then create a space where they can be themselves with you. And then you'll be the one that they come to for help or wisdom or guidance. I didn't know that back then. And so I ripped him and just made fun of him and clowned him. It was like reverse peer pressure. And you know, that kid ended up killing himself.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now I can't take full credit for that, right?
Yeah.
Myself up, but it definitely was an awakening for me, of like, now I understand, like, dude, we turn to those things because life's fucking hard and confusing, and people are trying to discover things, and they're trying to figure out, especially at that age, trying to figure out who they are, and then their home life might not be so good, and they might not have anybody. And so that, man, that kind of broke me and stuck with me. After that moment, I just stopped. I just stopped um, judging people. I just stopped.
Well, so I guess my question to that is, I mean, it's not even really a question, because I think I can relate. I mean, a lot of the people who watch this podcast, whether it's many or few, I think they carry one very distinct scar with them as a constant reminder. And so I guess the question to that is, even though it is a constant reminder and something you'll never forget, do you carry that with you now? Or is it something that you were able to like find faith in the forgiveness? Or is it something that you just understand the psychology of the human requires sometimes nurturing, sometimes they do require that masculine energy of, you know, the don't be a bitch, toughen up, what the fuck are you doing stuff? Like, it has to find
Yeah.
that balance. Where did
Yeah.
your balance come from then to now?
Well, I mean, even now I'm different than I was 3 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
Um, I don't, I mean, I look at that vibe as very, very rarely necessary. You like, stop being a fucking bitch. That's so surface level, like weak psychology. It's,
Yeah.
you know, what I find is that every man on this planet wants to know that he's loved. Like, genuinely hell. Every man, and any man that says otherwise has masks and layers that he's protecting himself with. But if I break down any man I've ever met, at the bottom of that is this feeling of being alone, a fear of death, and a fear of being alone. And that's every man. And so if that is true, then you can just like get to know guys, and the layers start coming off, and eventually you have a conversation where it's just two little boys talking to each other about really how they feel. And that's where you find shit, you know? So I'm more interested. I'm not so interested in guys doing the thing
Yeah.
where I was before. It's like, oh, if you do the thing, then you're a good boy. I'm interested in like deep healing perspective, and finding out who you are and what you want, what your values are, and what your ethics are, and why. And then sitting in between the tension of certainty and faith, being able to let go of knowing anything, but at the same time having things tested that you know work. And then you can sit in any conversation with whatever. I can banter back with a Mormon who's a good friend of mine, an atheist. Like, I don't know shit,
Yeah.
you know?
I love all that, because I think a lot of us, especially like a lot of men, we eventually have to find our own journey through the wilderness. And I think that's kind of what you're describing, you know what I mean? Where you have to understand who you are at your core, the values, what defines you, the things that have been holding you back and anchoring you, and then being able to confront those, whether it's the demons, the distractions, the negative self-talk, the limiting beliefs. And that's never going to come with the consistent like poke to the chest. You know what I mean? That's almost the worst case in what it is we're trying to leave behind. A mentor of mine, Keaton, said the one thing that all people truly want in life, man or woman, is simply to feel important. It's just the approach that we take, male or female, as to how it is we can show.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean,
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, I know I jumped out for a minute, but I jumped into some deep shit, man.
You did this to yourself, Jake.
I did.
Yeah.
But it was kind of nice.
I
I jumped in, I'm like, let's go.
I could bring us back to the story because I know we can get off of that. So I went on the mission, came home. I had really no skills. I mean, I was a skateboarder, surfer, jiu-jitsu guy, punk rock. I didn't go to college. So I got home and I had a buddy that was like, hey, you want to work at a bank? And I was like, that sounds like smart people do that shit. And so I became a teller at a bank. And the first day, the manager's like, all right, so when they give you the money, you got to put it in a checking account or a savings account. I was like, what's the savings account? She's like, how the fuck did you get a job here?
My gosh,
You know,
good. Yeah.
like, I was just not in that world, man, like at all.
Yeah.
And so I ended up working my way up into the bank and getting into the finance department, taking all the shit I learned on my mission of just hard work and hustle, and kind of blew up pretty quick. You know, I was bringing home $30,000-$40,000 checks to the wife like within a pretty short amount of time, and I was like, see, this is what happens when you're good and you do what God wants you to do.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just like, of course God is going to bless me for the rest of my life because
what age were you at this point?
I was 20 at that point. I think it took me like 2 years, 23, 24.
Okay, awesome. Now I don't know if we dug in this, but like, and I'm sure we're gonna get there. But I mean, how do you go from punk rock bank teller to the man you are now? And I know we're gonna fill a lot of gaps.
Yeah, dude. I feel like I've lived so many lives, bro. Like,
Ditto.
I mean, I was just a kid. I was excited about life and the future. I wasn't even really trying.
Yes.
I was just doing what felt right, you know? And here we are. We've got our dream house. I've got a skate park in the backyard.
Yes.
I've got one kid and one on the way. And I'm just like, I fucking made it, dog.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I started getting a little like, when you're that young and you start making money, you get a little swagger, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And little did I know I was in the right place at the right time. And then 2008 came and just took the rug right out from under my legs, dude, just like everybody else. And I didn't understand markets. I sold a bunch of shitty loans to people that the bank told me to sell, but I didn't know economics, finance. And they just put a guy in the seat who could sell a lot of shit and then pat you on the head like a good doggy. So I had a lot of guilt from the stupid shit that positions I put people in. Luckily, I wasn't a broker because those motherfuckers could get 5 points on the front, 5 points on the back. And I genuinely hope that I wouldn't have taken advantage of people, but I don't know. I wasn't in that position. So I wasn't tempted by that. But that taught me a lot about ethics in business and how it can kind of sneak up on you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be ignorantly used to use other people.
Yeah.
So after that, I literally lost everything. I lost 3 homes and cars repoed off the curb, and moved in with my wife's parents. And my wife was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to be a fucking fireman. So at that point I was like 28, and everyone's like, you're too old. And
At 28?
it's really hard to get. Yeah, back then it was like weird to be a fireman at 28, according to the public.
Yeah, 2008. Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah, and then what happened is once the economy tanks, everybody runs towards government jobs. I wasn't the only one, so I would be in a room with like 5,000 people taking a test, and I forgot how to add on paper. So my first test, I'm getting like 30%. I'm like, how dumb am I? Like, this fucking idiot was making all this money, can't even add on paper. So I had to like restudy my math and stuff. And ended up going to paramedic school and riding on a bus for like $11 an hour and working, I don't know, 150 hours a week because we were doing overnights, volunteering at a fire department. I got 2 kids and another one on the way at this point. Broke, just grinding for 3 years of that shit.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like and then I finally got hired in Thornton, Colorado as a fireman on my wife's birthday for like $42,000 a year. It was like the starting wage, but I was so stoked.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing 5 years there. That was hell. I didn't realize that I naturally wasn't cut out for the job. Like they called me Slim Shaky.
Okay.
Because my hands would shake. I'd get so fucking nervous. And that crew there that crew, they were harsh as fuck, man. Like you either become something or you get crushed.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was really good for me though, because I had to figure out who I was, and it took me about 3 years to kill Slim Shaky.
Yeah.
I just had this look at them like they were gods. They were like so good, and I was like a stupid piece of shit.
Wow.
And I seemed to fumble all the time, and I ended up taking out all my anger at the skate park in my 30s. So now I'm like 32, 33, and I'm going to the skate park like 5 hours a day on my days off. Wow. Just fucking die, like hair on fire, Mach 10, don't care whether I live or die, because I'm just so stressed about my position in life. And I'm, you know, at that point I was still kind of Mormon, so I'm not going to drink or do drugs.
I was just going to ask, were you drinking during all this? Because I mean,
I was just maniac, bro. Like, because I had no other escape except for the skate park.
Yeah.
And I just remember there was this snake run in Arvada in Colorado, and I would just go as fast as I could. And it's like a 13-foot bowl. And I would just lean back on a 5.0 and just go as hard as I could, no pads, no helmet, and just like, fuck you. And I just loved it, dude. One of the guys from the firehouse came and he saw me there, and he goes, "Who are you?" Yeah, he's like, "He's the pussy at the fire. Where is this guy?" You know? But I couldn't really find him in that environment yet. So I ended up fucking my knees up really bad, tore both my patellar tendons bad. And so I'm at work, like trying to climb ladders and shit. And they're like, "Dude, you can't be on the job."
Dude.
So they put me in the office, which is like the worst thing you can do for a fireman. I can't skate now. I can't work out. I'm not a fireman. I'm a fucking loser in the office. I'm a fucking office dork. I get super depressed, start putting on weight, like just started looking at porn, I just got depressed, man. And the guys would make fun of me. They'd be like, "Oh, I can't do kickflips." Where? I'm like, "Fuck you." Like, not helpful, bro. No.
Back to the hazing.
Oh, right away. Just hazing, dude. And I started getting my first suicidal thoughts in my life, dude. That was like the first time where I was like, "Oh, this is what it's like."
Yeah.
So I had kind of a fuck it moment where I was like, "All right, dude, like at this point, the church is gone. God is gone. It's just me lost in this pit of hell all alone. For the first time in my life, I got nothing to lean on." And I just said, "All right, well, there's no God. Nobody gives a fuck. Fine. I'll be my own God. I'll do this." And I did. I got a rehab program. It took me 1.5 years to rehab my knees again. And in that process, I put on like 20 pounds of muscle and just got absolutely shredded. And that was like, dude, I remember looking in the mirror one day when I was doing squats, and I just like broke down in tears, dude. I was like,
and this was, you had no coach at that time. This was all self-driven?
This is all me, dude.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just was looking at my abs, all fucking veins down my ribs and shit. I was like, "Who are you, you fucking animal?" And like that was so massive. And then I go back to the firehouse and I walk in, and like people are like, who are you? And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up." I just came in a totally different person, dude. Yeah. Stop shaking. Didn't give a fuck. And I was like opposite now, before I looked up to all those guys and was like, oh my God, could I ever be them? And at this point, I'm the opposite. I'm like, look at me wrong, I'll fucking slit your throat.
What do you think was that pivotal? I know you just explained kind of like, you were broken, you're depressed, suicidal, but what was that pivotal moment that you broke that mirror? Like, what really set it over the top? Was it a bad booze night? Was it just your wife wasn't looking? Like, what was it that you finally said, fuck this, I'm going all in on myself?
It was either that or eat a bullet.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
What did you
Yeah.
have?
So
who do you have? I mean, obviously at this time, this was before mentorship. This was before, the online space stuff. But I mean, was it audiobooks? Was it something a message you read, a quote, a verse, a Bible, anything?
It was me in pain.
Fucking heavy.
Utterly alone. No one, no mentor, no help, nothing.
Wow.
Just me.
What year? Sorry, Mikey, what year was that? 2008, you said 9?
Because I was way later, because I had been on the job for 3 years. I think I got hired in 2011.
Okay.
So that was like 2014, maybe.
Gotcha.
So with all that, like, I know a lot of people, especially who we work with in the more creative space, the more counterculture end of things, they generally struggle with the same thing you went through. Like, fuck it, there is no God, I'm my own God. But you took the approach of truly becoming it instead of leaning into the self-doubt, the self-destruction. A lot of people will try to find how deep the bottom can go. Yeah. Where you took the other approach and you started climbing to the highest height you possibly could. So fast forward from there a little bit, like, how long did you consistently take that climb? Did you find a place where it was more maintenance, where you were just the strongest you possible and you were like, this is good? Then you started changing other people's lives. Where did that transition happen?
Well, in the firehouse. So guys saw what happened to me and they were intrigued. And so they were like, surface level, right? Yeah. Fuck, I want to get jacked, bro. And I was like, yeah, dude, check this out. Look what I learned. This is what you got to do. It's really easy. And so I started working with guys. And while I was doing that, I ended up feeling this pull to go back to San Diego, go back to California. And so I started over at Orange County Fire Authority in Orange County. Full academy, new academy, probation again, the whole thing, but different human. It wasn't easy. It was really brutal again in a lot of different ways, but so cool to do it again as the new version of me because I had that attitude.
Yeah. They didn't know who the fuck Slim Shaky was at that point.
No, they didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
I love that.
And he came out a few times. Like every once in a while he'd be like, I'd be like,
it's always going to be in.
Oh, curb stomp your ass. Yeah. Get out of here.
Yeah.
No, that was before I learned how to embrace all of my parts, which is later on.
Yeah.
He just needed a fucking hug, bro. He just needed to come to the table and be able to speak and work through some shit.
Yeah.
Well, then let's go into that, fully embracing all of your parts of self then. Like, obviously there's always, maybe not always, but a lot of people always have that looming, like, negative voice in the back of your head. You're Slim Shaky. What did it take for you to really start understanding all of your parts of self to be the you now?
Yeah, I used to over discipline my parts, and I would cover them up, and I thought I was authentic, but I was wearing a mask of protection and self-promotion, self-protection. That's how Superhuman Fathers was built, because I got to a point where the demand for my services were so high that I had to leave the firehouse. And that people wanted that version of me that was strong and certain. And I believed that I was. And I embraced that. Yeah. And that was the way my message came across, because that's what I actually felt. But what I didn't know, that there were layers so deep that had never been unearthed before, because all my parts were protecting myself from those, right? At the time, I would have told you I made it. Again, I made it. Yeah. I'm the dad. I'm the disciplined one. But I was unable to see some of the things that I couldn't see. And you start to get more microscopic. When you go on the path of transformation, real transformation, right? Deep transformation, you're going to find that if you're a human, you have so much bullshit, so much. And you can't unearth all of it ever. There's just another layer under another layer. when I discovered that, that was extremely confidence shattering because I thought as a leader, I was supposed to be perfect. And I found out that I was not, even in the way that I would talk to my wife at home or the way that I would respond to my children. Although from an outside looking in, they'd be like, oh, that's not a big deal. But to me, little things started to become big deals because I could see the damage that I was causing with my actions. I also noticed my pride, my ego, my desire to be seen, this crazy push to I'm a piece of shit until I make $1 million a month, which is so stupid and burns everyone down around you because you're so focused on this one goal that you're irritated all the time and you're using hatred and anxiety to push yourself. But all the coaches I was around, that's what they did. And that's how they're successful. Not to mention, hey, spend all your fucking money on stupid bullshit so that you look bigger than you actually are. What the fuck kind of advice is that? No one with any wisdom in their right mind would say, hey, you just found a way to make money. Go buy shit. Yeah. No, they'd say live small and build big. There's one fucking lesson I could say right here. Don't listen to that shit. Live small and build big and live off of the interest of the investments that you make. Because I'm a guy here that made $6 million in 3 years and I am broke and I'm bankrupting 2 of my corporations right now. So learn from my mistakes. If you find a way to make money, don't be a fucking idiot and listen to all these this terrible advice.
I'm so glad that you said that.
Yeah, right.
It's everywhere. And the moment Mikey and I, we made a real pivotal change at the end of last year. And when we decided to just not focus, when we talk about success and being successful was the house on the hills and the Rolex and the Mercedes, it's like, it's not the way we think. It's about taking off on a Thursday to go hang at the river with the family. It's about picking up my daughters 3 days a week. And the moment we shifted our mindset into not focusing on the materialistic, not that he and I ever were big on that shit. I would never have a Rolex on my wrist. But the moment we stopped chasing that success, or we need to get to this point to be here, so much shit unraveled and unfolded for both of our lives that we live this peaceful life of what exactly you just said, because mentorship is great, but you got a lot of those mentors that tell you to take the first class seat. They tell you to go get the watch. They tell you you need to have your car washed every single fucking day in order to be a better businessman. And you're so driven and focused on the bullshit that doesn't fucking matter. You let go of the things that truly do, which is your family, your faith, and bettering yourself, dude. So
you tie your identity into your production. It's the worst thing you can do for your self-peace. And then also, I don't even judge those guys. They got scammed into it too. Everybody. They got bamboozled into thinking that was going to lead somewhere. Now, hey, listen, get the mansion, get the Rolex, get the cars, but make sure that your interest is paying for it on your investment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like actually earn it. And I would have guys kind of call me out, and I didn't understand because I didn't understand wealth. I didn't get it. I just all of a sudden had millions pouring in my bank account. So, dude, I'm a fireman. I don't fucking know. They're like, hey, you need to elevate your life. I'm like, I'm kind of happy here. And they're like, yeah, but you got to do that to get to the next level. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Well, I'm glad you said that, not to cut you off on that part, but I'll forget my train of thought. But that's why when we talk about the comeback kids in their 30s, yeah, we make it to that point. We get in shape. We start doing better things. But then you mentioned something earlier about, but you still have that mask. You still have that something missing. And it's that break in the mirror pivot. I'll keep saying that word because that's a strong song title. Fuck, that was hard to say. From Fit for a King, that really talks about getting in and peeling that last layer off. When you can speak into a camera authentically without trying to press the other person, without knowing you're full of absolute fucking shit, that is where the true men need to get to, dude.
It's uncomfortable at first to like be naked like that. It feels like you want to throw up,
Yeah. Like I always compared it to like the feeling you get when you're going to buy the bag from the guy. You know what I mean? You get that because you just know you're fucking doing something bad. You know you're not doing it the right fucking way, dude.
Yeah, man. It's like because we're so attached to things. It's like, well, if I say this, will I make money? Well, if I say this, will they think I'm weak? Yeah. It's like, I am weak. I'm fucking human. I'm weak. It's okay. Sometimes I fucking yell and scream and cry. Like, fucking it happens. And I know you do too. And if you don't, you're bottling up everything. You're fucking pushing it all down. Trust me, I've seen a lot of fucking dead people. Like, I know I pushed that shit down for many years. Michael knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Still, dude, still to this day, like I'm a newer father. My son's 3. I have a split household. I have 3 businesses now. I've got a social media platform that I loathe. And the most authentic person I can be is when no one's watching. Like, and that's been since the pivot Jake and I made. Success to me is just being in the constant pursuit of my full potential. But the minute I turn my camera on, I go right back into autopilot of validation, thinking it's like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then I just I get so defeated by just even feeling obligated to do it. Like my weakest self is when I have a plan of what I'm going to say in hopes it's going to produce an outcome instead of genuinely just talking, thinking, and expressing for people to understand the vulnerability of what we all go through, you know?
Yeah, man. It's like the reels that pop off the most are when you just pick up the camera and you're like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And like, it wasn't scripted. And, you know, once you do it for a while, you start seeing it too. And then I'll watch some of my old like ChatGPT scripted reels I did. And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
like,
When I look back, when I look back at my
dude.
scripted shit about the 3 things you need to be doing in your business, I'm like, who the
I hate it,
who
bro.
was that guy, dude? Like,
Yep.
that is not. I might as well be wearing a fucking polo shirt with fucking cardigan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, dude. And
The life hacks to quick success bullshit.
Yeah, and I'm gonna butcher the name, but me and Mikey did a reel, and we were talking about who was the gentleman, dude. We were talking about the song. She's a man. What is the one? Mike, you know what I'm talking about?
Dude,
Now I'm gonna blow.
I don't know, but I want you to like reenact it right now. Maybe it'll help us get a little clearer.
Anyways, it was just him and I popping off, dude. We were just talking about this song, "Ladies Man." She's a lady. Whoa, whoa, whoa. She's
Tom Jones.
Yeah, dude. And we couldn't get the name, and I had to Google it. Anyways, I did one of our best because we were just both like just 2 blonde girls, like fucking didn't know what we were talking about. But the moral of the story was like one of our least interactive social business mentor bullshit posts ended up being one of our best because people are like, dude, these guys get it. They're just fucking 2 knuckleheads that know a little bit about fucking life and experiences, and it did so well. But yeah, dude.
Yeah, and I also don't want to dissuade people from sucking and being fake either, because it's kind of like a process you go through to find yourself.
Yeah.
Like, most people don't know who the fuck they are at all, and that's okay too. That's fumbling through to like find your vibe.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's fucked up when you have a mentor, and I won't say any names, but they fucking, you know, they just tell you post more. You got to post more. Post 3, post 10. You got to be posting 10. Keep up. You got to be relevant. And it's like half these dudes are so fucking broken. We're putting them on the camera to just speak a bunch of bullshit that they're repeating and regurgitating from the last asshole that did the same fucking thing. And you're like, and now we just got this ripple effect of bullshit hooks and like, it's like, let's fix the record first. Like, let's fix that broken man before just telling him to go post his life about some nonsense everyone else is doing. Because that's the thing you got to do to make the fucking 7 figures or the 10K months.
Really, what I've found is this, and this is the way I'm rebuilding now. You know, we came from doing like $250,000 a month, which was insane. Like, that was a dream, down to 10% of that.
Yes.
So, you know, now we're doing like 25, 30,000 a month, but I'm in such alignment with my life. I mean, my multi-million-dollar business now is a ministry. It's free. It's 5 days a week, 5 a.m. Anybody can come at any time because I found Jesus and he ruined my life, dude.
So
elaborate on that. Time out. Elaborate on that a little bit for me.
Well, look, I started with fitness, right?
Yeah.
Boring. Fucking boring. It's so surface level. It's important. It's a gateway. I just can't focus on it. I want to get as deep into the darkness of that man's soul as possible.
Yeah.
That's what lights me up. Like, I want to see a man tap on that thing inside of him, that core heart, and go and have that illumination in his eyes where he cries and is like, oh my God, I've been hurting people and myself my whole life. I see it. And literally watch the Spirit of God enter into him and transform the light in his eyes. That's what I live for. That's my payment. And so I'm like, okay, how do I do this and still put food on the table?
Mm-hmm.
Why I say Jesus ruined my life is he killed the old version of me that was so attached to success and winning, where I had to let it go in order to feel what it was like to fall and just go, okay, Jesus, I trust you. I don't even actually totally know if you're real, but the idea of you is so sweet that I'm going to give you my entire life. And that's crazy. Like, if you really think about it, like, I'm in on the way. So sign me up. And there's no certainty. Even now, there's no certainty for me there. There's just fruits that I've seen in my own ability to just literally not be affected by outside influence anymore. Like being judged, being misunderstood, being a failure, my wife's anger towards me, my kids fucking up. I'm the version of the dad I always wanted to be right now. Because of Jesus, and because I was willing to let go of the path that I thought was what I was supposed to do or what I wanted.
And I love that you brought that. I love that you brought that up. I've been in fitness for 16 years now. I was a certified personal trainer back in 2010, owned gyms, and it was always chasing. Look at fitness now, and I'm like, man, that's just such a small piece of the element. And back then it was cosmetics. Get this guy, get this girl, get him shredded, beat him up, make him puke, be the drill sergeant. And as I've grown up and learned and educated myself more, I'm now becoming a mentor myself and following so many great dudes like yourself. It's like, let's find the inner work first. And it's just like we're learning about gut health and the biohacking and the peptides. It's not so much just about lifting the weights and looking good. It's about how well do you want to live? Let's talk longevity. But as we start peeling that onion back, we look at the layers of their spiritual. What's really hurting this person? What's really the key root? Because we can get the person in shape, but it's once we're not training them no more, how do we continue that dude, making sure he's going to be the best version? And that all starts within, the brain, the spiritual, the mental. Because if you're fixing a broken guy by just giving him a six pack, that dude's not fixed. He's just got he got the Band-Aid on. And
he probably won't hang on to it either.
Absolutely not. I was one. I'm one of them multiple times. Multiple times.
On the opposite end of that coin, I know for certain that I am not as in shape as I would like to be as I once was, solely because my spirit and my mind still aren't all the way fixed to be able to truly go all in on the way my fitness needs to be. I'm fully aware of that. So even though fitness is such a small part, it can be one of the most profound aspects because, when you think of the Holy Trinity, and yes, I'm going to go a little bit more like on the spiritual end. When you think Father, Son, Holy Spirit, we also have mind, body, and spirit. So the alignment of those three in the Holy Trinity, we also have that being a creation of God, being created in the image of God. So there is still that Holy Trinity in us that all has to be aligned. And that's a lot of where my belief in success had come from. I spend most of my mornings now painting. And the only thing I listen to when I paint, when I'm doing Jesus portraits, I will study the teachings and the life of Jesus. I'm working on the Apostle Paul right now. I'm studying the life and the teachings of the Apostle Paul. And it's the only way I've been able to truly finding God in my life. I have a hard time in a room full of people, all singing the same hymns, the same worship, men, women, and children, all on the same plane. And so I've distanced myself from that community present day solely to find God in the pathway that I understand as a creator to the creative, and then making the creation is the only way it's made sense to me. And it's the first time I've actually felt sorta together.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And most mainstream religions would call us heretics because of our open minds. I don't know shit.
I get that a lot. Yeah.
I start every single one of my group meetings. I go, I'm not a guru. I'm not a pastor. I don't know anything. I've read the Bible twice, but we're going to pick this apart together and let's see what comes up. And what comes up are the greatest transformations that I've ever seen. And physically, they lag. Yeah. I can whip a guy into physical shape, but I'm more interested in him getting spiritually right with himself and then stepping into the physical so that he can actually enjoy the process rather than beating the fuck out of himself because he's got
making it a chore.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I want him loving himself with fat.
Yes. Yeah.
You can love yourself when you're fat. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Sure.
But if you're feeling the pull and it's time to get disciplined, then okay, let's do it. Yeah. You're ready.
Yeah. And I love that, dude. At 44, I was always a faithful dude. You got baptized at a very young age. My ministry is basically listen to metal hardcore or Christian hardcore and Christian punk rock and stuff. And that's my time. I never want to go back to a church. That's my own belief. I don't feel it. My wife begs me, but I handle things differently. And at 44, we just went and did this car show as Cars and Coffee. And it was a 100% faith-based. And I met a group of dudes by the name of the Kingsman Collective, a group of new guys. One of my barbers just gave his life to God about 6 months ago, which is amazing to see the transformation. But I told Mikey, I'm like, I'm getting with this group of dudes now because it's the only thing in my life that's really missing. The fitness is always there. Finances are where I need them to be. And working with a life coach and learning gratitude and meditation and journaling and all the things. And the gap. Have you read a book called The Gap and the Gain? Book that changed my life 2 months ago, man. When I started realizing that I've been living in this gap, it's where shit opened. So I joined these young men. I just went out of town for Dallas, but they do these weekly meetings. I said, that's the only thing I'm missing in my life is to be honest and be real with a group of dudes that I know I can do it with. Not saying my friends I can't do it, but it's a different feeling. It's a different, we'll just reminisce about the band days and drinking and partying. You know what I mean? As where these new group of guys, I'll watch some dudes cry. I will get emotional with them. And I think it's the missing part, and I think it'll be a big change. And I think a lot of dudes these days in age do not speak freely enough about their feelings and their emotions. And again, that's something I loved about your content. I've seen tears come down your eyes. You don't give a fuck because you're in that moment. You've openly discussed your marriage. You've openly discussed your faithfulness. You've openly discussed your wins and losses. So that's why I admire you so much, man. And so honored to have you on this because I knew we were going to hear a story that we don't get to fucking hear from many men these days.
Yeah, man. I mean, like right now, we're moving to El Salvador. So we got to get all our residency stuff together. We're in the middle of finishing our bankruptcy. We actually have to bring all our stuff tomorrow. So my wife's getting it all together right now, and getting all that stuff together is crazy. I just got served my first lawsuit for $250,000. My son is 100 assignments behind, and is constantly lying to us and smoking weed.
And you've got five boys. That's what. Okay.
Yeah. So like that's just normal life.
Yep.
So, but how do you find peace at your core in the midst of extreme chaos? How do you bind your marriage closer as things get harder, not pull away? How do you learn more patience with your kid who continues to lie to you and screwing up in school, and get closer to him through that process rather than letting it pull you away? This is what I've learned through this. This time in my life has been my greatest blessing. It's brought me closer to God and gotten me to know myself and get me closer to my family than any other time in my life. Why does that tear some men away from each other, create divorce and massive chaos in the family? And why, for some men, does it bring them closer together? Massive fucking intention, self-control, and closeness to the source, and digging every day into yourself. What am I doing? What did I do yesterday? Was it in alignment? What decisions am I making right now? What are my intentions? What are the intentions of my heart? What do I desire right now? Am I angry? Why am I angry? What are the parts of me that are angry? And I need to talk to them and let them come to the table and let them have a voice, work through them as though I have a group of men inside of me with different ideas and different perspectives. It's the same inside as it is outside. This is what I've learned coaching. I'll have a room of 50 guys. You know what? I got 50 guys in me too that I have to bring together and unify. And when I do that, I can take any chaos and transmute it into a great benefit for my own personal development and my family.
That's insane.
Do you think by understanding those emotions, because obviously we have the cartoon character approach of the yell and scream anger as an armor ideology, but do you think it helps a man become more of the crusader in faith by understanding and being vulnerable within those emotions to strengthen his resolve in a sense?
I don't think, man, at some point you don't even need resolve because you are it, right? You've embodied it. So like right before this call, my wife's giving my son a hard time about his assignments. He said he only had 40 left to do. He has 110 or some shit. So she's telling him, like, she said, do you need any help? And then he gave her some lip, like, oh, now you want to help. He's gaslighting her and putting it on her, right? So she comes upstairs and she's crying. And she's like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I know, you're doing a good job. So then I go to my son, and well, the old me would like yell at him and like, don't you dare talk to your mom like that. I'll slap you aside the head. That doesn't do shit. All that does is create more distance between me and him. So I have to open up and figure out, help him see what he's doing and learn from it, right? So I'm like, well, what happened with mom? Well, she always thinks about herself. and doesn't listen to me. And I go, well, what is she concerned about? I don't know. She just like makes me feel like a bad person. Well, how does she make you feel like a bad person? Well, she gets mad at me when I do my work. Well, how come you think she's mad at you because you don't do? Why does that make her mad? It's like, well, because she wants me to like get good grades.
Bingo.
She's concerned about you. Well, so you don't like the way she does it? No. Okay, but what is her intentions? Why does she do that? He doesn't want to say it, right? Because the answer is she loves me, she cares about me. So you just keep kind of poking until he says, she loves me. Like, wow, you have a mom who loves you. Do you want to hurt your mom who loves you? No. Did you? Well, I didn't mean to. I know. But sometimes things are perceived a certain way, the way that we say them, right? Yeah. So is there a different way that you could say that to your mom so that she wouldn't feel that way? Yeah. All right. We got 100 assignments to do. We're going to get them done today? I don't know. I go, we got to make a miracle happen. And you know what? There's going to be a consequence either way. You're either going to take the punch to the face today, or you're going to take it in the ass tomorrow. Totally up to you. Right? But I'm not compelling him. I'm not yelling at him. I'm keeping a close understanding relationship and walking him right into clarity. But I have to learn to do that with myself before I can do that with him.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Blew my damn mind, Kyle.
Damn it. Every time I get on these calls, my mind is fucking blown.
This is why I'm not Superhuman Jake.
That touches a really like a real heartfelt string, because one thing that I've preached to myself over and over again is it's all about the personal standards, not the external expectations. When I thought I was my own God, it was everyone else's fault. Now that I believe in a God, I can take accountability for all my own shit. It's great on paper, but it's not being actively implemented by action. And like hearing you say that, it's like, fuck me, God damn it. I've still got so much work to do. Shit.
I want to kind of keep on this subject. Now, I know your marriage life you've been very open. I know it has its ups and downs, as all do. And if they say differently, they're full of fucking shit. Walk me through the moment. I know it was you working on yourself, and obviously you can't blame one or the other. It's a couple. What was the turning point in the marriage? What did you guys do? Because I know you're huge advocates on couple therapy and bringing couples stronger in faith and in life and fitness. What was it with you guys that really made that turning point?
Well, my big thing was sex. So I wasn't getting laid as often as I wanted to, and I didn't feel desired by my wife. So I didn't have sex with anyone before I met my wife. And so I had this view of what that would be like, which is just sex all the time. And she's just going to want me all the time. And then I get married and we have kids. And all of a sudden it's like, I got to like beg her to get laid. And you're just like, what the fuck's wrong with me? Or what's wrong with her? Or what come to find out, it's like 90% of marriages with kids and businesses, and the wife's mind gets overwhelmed, and then the man has no idea how to deal with that. And there's things that the man can do to create a lack of pressure and an acceptance of her, because she wants to be loved and accepted for who she is, but he's terrified that if he accepts her and loves her for who she is, that he's never going to get laid. So he's like, he's in the spot where he's like, it's the upside down game that Jesus taught. It's no different. It's doing the things that don't make sense for an outcome that doesn't appear to be likely. That's faith, right? But the very place of safety that a man has with his woman, where he can disappear and just be enough with her in sex, is her exact place when he doesn't need her to do that to be accepted by him. So how do you reconcile that? Well, you can do one thing from the man's side, is to take off pressure and to love more. Love. Like, we don't do this. We get married and we stop saying, well, I love you, babe. No, what about this? Man, you're the most beautiful thing on this planet. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. I just want to thank you for everything you do for this family. What if you said that 3-4 times a day? What if constantly you just looked at her like that and talked to her like that? You do that and if you've been really an asshole, it might take a year for her to believe that shit.
These guys think they'll do something and like, I tried that. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You tried that once and you thought it was going to work. You've been an asshole for 20 years. And you're going to be like, I tried that and I didn't get laid. It's like, that's the problem. You have expectations of getting something back and she can smell it on you because you're using her for your own addiction. Now, I don't believe a marriage should be sexless, but I also understand the dynamics between a man and a woman because I lived it. I'm in an interesting place now because I was able to get myself to a point where I was getting laid every day and my wife unleashed. And I was like, this is incredible. Yeah. But I'm realizing now that one of her core wounds creates kind of a people pleaser in her. So I've been able to use that to get what I want. And now I'm like, there's another layer of bullshit in me, fucking evil. Yep. So now I've laid off the pressure completely. And the amount of sex I'm getting has gone down, to more normal or high normal, I should say, like 3 to 4 times a week. But the experience is 10 times because she's free. So I'm always figuring out the next level of things, especially in relationships, because it's so dynamic and it's so expansive and it's a never ending process of depth because in reality, you can't, in the human form, you can't unify with God enough. Like we can't ever just like there's always a way to get closer, right? Yeah. Become more like him because we're so imperfect. The marriage is no different. So if you look at the relationship like your relationship with God, you can genuinely create this level of oneness that becomes normal for you. Most marriages are like kind of normal here, right? But as you come closer together, your normal changes. Your temperature gauge can assess when this was normal before and now this is normal. Once you're here again, you're like, whoa, red flag. I'm doing something. We got to get back in the game. So you're always checking on each other all the time. Second thing is if your wife is involved together, it accelerates the path. What could take 10 years takes 1 year, but some wives are really resistant, lack of trust, We've had guys in our group that have been with us for 3 years before their wife was finally like, hey, I think I want to get involved, because they had so much work to do on themselves to build enough trust for them to listen to her.
Yeah. Was that always in the deck of cards for you two? Or was it something as you grew this together, it just naturally became organic to where we can help people?
Yeah, it just naturally happened.
I love that.
It wasn't planned. We used to run a call called Marriage Mastery every week for like 4 years.
Yeah.
It was just the guys in the group. And then we realized the amount of transformations we had in marriages were in the hundreds. And we're like, we're actually better at this.
Yeah.
And now it's like, if a couple both commits to the process, even those that are like on death's doorstep, every single one of them will heal as long as they'll hang in there. Cause it gets rough.
Yeah.
You start drumming up old shit. Like you have to be able to stay together in the pocket and go through all the bullshit together and bring out all the truth. And that beginning part's really rough.
Do you find it, let's say, common that a lot of people, although they want to be committed, their hardest thing to do is to fully commit, especially in a relationship or in a marriage? It's already legally binding, time binding. Do you find them sometimes less committed because it's already something that's a truth? Or do you find both of them are at a point where they want to be committed, they just don't know how to go fully into that commitment now?
Because I'll ask a couple like how close are we to divorce? I'll ask every couple that, and I want to hear from each of them, and then they're gonna say like, is this worth salvaging? If they say no, I'm not working with them. If they're like if the wife's like, yeah, I'm not really interested in salvaging this, I'm like, go talk to an attorney. Like, I'm not here to save someone who doesn't want something. Like they have to both say that this would be our preferred route. Otherwise it's a waste of time.
Now, is it majority broken, or is it a lot of people that may have the strong relationship that just want to build on it and to be able to become stronger?
I mean, in essence, every marriage is suboptimal. Right. So every marriage is broken to a certain degree, just like we are. We have fragmented parts within us that we haven't found or seen yet. We have layers of bullshit. So no matter how good you think your marriage is,
there's so many places where your core wounds are bumping up against each other, where you're hurting each other, where you misunderstand each other. So anybody that's like, my marriage is good, you have a shit marriage. I guarantee it. Like, my marriage is good. I used to say that shit too. When we were way out here, I was like, oh, we're on the same path. There's so much to be uncovered.
Yeah.
And I'd say the same for me. I have so much work to do.
Yeah.
I'm not the fucking
we could compare that in the fitness world. Is like, yeah, I eat healthy.
Yeah.
But it's like, what does that mean? You're eating 2 fucking salads a day and you're just not losing weight because you're eating 2 salads a day? It's like,
or they're like,
oh, shit.
yeah, I'm probably like 14% body fat. You're like 34. You're 34% body fat, not 14.
I was one of them. I was like, oh, I'm probably somewhere around 15. I'm like 22. I'm like, fuck, I should probably just stop drinking beer.
Yeah, but it's just water weight today. I'm feeling a little bit of blood.
It's my genes. It's my it's my genes.
Thick skin.
So let's dive into the coaching now, man. And I know you've had some mentors along your way. I know you've invested quite a bit into mentorship. I think the most recent group you're with, I forget the gentleman's name, but he does the Man in the Arena. You're very high up with.
Garrett White, bro. He is a homie. I love that.
I've heard incredible, not only from Keith, but yeah, I know you roll with the Keith and the Man in the Arena. You actually speak at those events, if I'm correct.
I spoke at one.
Okay.
So I don't speak at them. I spoke at one.
Did you do last year's?
There was 2. So I did last year's, but there was
the one
2.
in Utah.
Yeah, the one. No,
okay.
No, did I do the one in Utah? Yes.
Okay. I work with Keaton Hoskins pretty closely, and those are a lot of the seminars and like the big masterminds that I attend. I'm supposed to do Limitless Arena as well, and I know he's really close to him as well.
Yeah. What was it for you? And we can name the first mentor who you invested in, but what was it for you that wanted to get involved and get a guru or mentor? What was that turning point for you, and how did that begin?
That was Wes, man. Like, I grew up with him as a kid. We used to skate together, and then I was having my daughter, and I kept seeing his transformations. You know, I had some muscle and some abs, but I was looking at his transformations. I was like, man, I want to get to that level. What the fuck? So I called him the day my daughter was born, and just got on his program for the year and just locked it in and just took it to the next level with him. And then at the end of the year, he was like, hey, man, you got something. You need to do this. And I was like, I don't need to do anything. I'm a fireman. And he's like, I will come and slap your ass right across the face if you don't fucking do this. You're the guy. And I'm like, I'll try it.
Yeah.
And timing, the need for men looking for leadership. It was just like the perfect time and place to just put that out, because it was new and different, and it exploded right away. I mean, we made $1 million our first year. And I'm a fucking idiot. I didn't know business or anything, So, I do now, now I've got some wisdom and some scars.
Yeah. Well, I know when I came in the space, I mean, as an in-person guy owning gyms and then jumping in the online space in 2020, I didn't really get into the circle probably until 2023. And I mean, you're one of the faces that I saw. You and Wes, obviously, then came like the Reliance and obviously, the other guys, but you're an OG, so there's no surprise that you made that kind of money so quickly. Plus, you didn't have the same approach as Wes. You weren't, the tough guy.
No, very different, man. And it was a tough guy for me, but man, my guys now are just like, man, Kyle, you've gotten so calm, man. And I'm like, they're like, sometimes you need to let that guy out, and I'm like, I don't need to do anything. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah. But
I think you should yell more, Kyle. I think you should yell more. I think you should shut the fuck up and let me be who I want to be.
That's it right there. I remember before I knew you personally and seen it, it was always a lot of father stuff. It was always a lot. I remember, if I'm correct, a lot of beach shots and you on the sand and you with the kids. And I want to say the wife was in there quite a bit. I didn't pay too much attention, but there's a lot more wife now than back then. But it explains why you're doing more of the marriage type stuff.
Well, I was a good father and a comparatively neglective husband at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the priorities: God,
yeah,
wife, kids, business, body. Body's at the bottom. Not to say you throw it out, fucking dial it in.
Yeah.
That's the foundation. And you're never going to have the marriage you want, in my opinion, without a connection to your creator, and specifically Jesus. Because if you master
or focus on mastering the way that Jesus taught, that directly infuses into your marriage in a way that I have not found anywhere else. I've spent millions of dollars and looked everywhere. And that's why when I came back and found it again, I was like, sitting right here in front of me the whole time.
I love that.
You know?
And what's your take on mentorship these days?
I mean, my mentorship now involves deliverance ministry. So parts work, bringing Jesus in to heal parts, and very, very psychology based, parts work based, but also bringing in spiritual power into that domain. So that's probably more of the direction I'm going with my men.
Yep.
Is deep spiritual work, which gets them untrapped in so many different ways.
For sure. And I may have missed this at the beginning, but is this one of the reasons for El Salvador? I mean, are you a retreat kind of guy? Is this something, because I know retreats are becoming very popular because we're getting over the fucking Zooms. We need more hugs. We need more handshakes. We need more connection, building relationships in person. Is this something that you and your wife may want to take on, or is it already in the books?
No, I mean, that's definitely part of the plan, but El Salvador was just I literally had a dream. And then I went and watched some interviews about the country and had just a visceral spiritual response in my head. Was like, this is where you're going to live. And I was like, man, we don't get a rest much around here, do we?
Is there good, is there good surf in El Salvador? Okay.
Really?
I knew there was something. So you're building a half pipe, surfing and living it.
I love South American countries. I love the vibe, but I don't like wondering if my car is going to get broken into or if my kids are going to get kidnapped.
Sure.
And El Salvador has done the most incredible transformation in regards to safety.
Wow. Okay.
You can walk around late at night in the towns, and you can leave your fucking car unlocked, and it's rad. And so I'm just excited. I like to shift things up. I don't like to live the same day over and over again. And this is sometimes when you're stripped away of some things, it opens up doors to other options, right? Because you're blind. Sometimes your success can blind you from your path, and you can get a little off, and things can be taken from you to wake up again and realize like where you're supposed to go and what the next move is.
In that, because I think a lot of people struggle not with the success they currently have, but with the desire of success. Going back to kind of your mentorship in a previous conversation we had, what would be your best recommendation for people who are so hyper fixated on just wanting to get out of the rat race, just wanting to get out of the misery and the comparison and the envy, who yearn for success but can't see that clear path to what true success can look like for them? What would be your recommendation to get out of their own fucking way?
Number one is let go of needing anything, which is, you're never going to hear this from any business coach. Let go of needing anything, and get into deep journaling of like who you are and what you want and what's important to you. And then let it flow to start having ideas. Your first business is going to fail. Know that your first business is a practice run. Mine was a supplement company. And I did that right before I started Superhuman Fathers. And that was practice. I knew when I was doing it that it was practice for something. I just needed to learn entrepreneurship. I knew I needed to learn the skills. So I was like, I'm doing this and pumping money into it, knowing that it's a college course. And I never expected at any time soon to have any success whatsoever. I just was like, okay, because in reality, what is business is math, man. Like, it's not magic. We try to spiritualize business. God does not care if you make money or not. I'm sorry, my friends. He doesn't care. Like, this needs to be known that God cares about your heart, right? He doesn't care if you're broke or you're rich. You want to be broke? Be broke. You want to make money? Do the things required to make money. You want to be fat? Be fat. If you don't, you got to do the things that God does not come and intervene and say like, if you want to, go get it, right? We have the physical realm and the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm is more important because it's everlasting, and it's where you're going to find actual peace. If you're looking for spiritual things and physical things, you're going to be very frustrated. You're going to keep falling off the edge of the cliff thinking you're going to cross the chasm. It's never going to happen, right? But we're trying to build the whole man, right? We want to master the physical realm and master the physical realm, the spiritual and physical realm, both. Putting the spiritual realm as a priority above the physical. That's hard because many things in the spiritual realm are going to make it more difficult for you to be successful in the physical realm, because it's actually easier to be successful if you're very unethical and very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We like to say, if I'm a good boy and I do what God wants me to do, then he'll give me money. Not true. You'll have your daily bread. He'll make sure that you have a sandwich every once in a while and have a tent to sleep in. But make no mistake, on the physical side, ain't nobody coming to save you. On the spiritual side, you're already saved, motherfucker. So you ain't got nothing to worry about. So let go of being so serious about the shit that matters less, and then go play, which means I can play without fear. I can just try stuff. And by trying stuff, you're going to fall on your face. You're going to look like an idiot. People are going to judge you. You're going to be misunderstood. You're going to accidentally hurt people. It's just part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you learn from it. You do better. And hey, man, some ups and downs, 10, 20 years down the road, you're like, man, what a ride. And then you got a full bank account. You know?
Fucking love that, dude.
Yeah, well said.
Well said. Well, Kyle, man, I could not thank you enough for jumping. I knew this would be great. I definitely want to run this back because I know there's so much fucking more to this story. Possibly when you get settled in El Salvador, and I want to be one of the guests that gets out there on your list. So I'll be watching out for you. Where can people find you if they want to get a hold of you?
Superhuman Fathers on Instagram, Power Couple Playbook on Instagram with me and my wife. And that's probably the best spot.
And what's next for Kyle?
And about your, you said you do five ministry calls a week?
Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. Pacific. We're on there every day for 45 minutes to an hour, every single day.
Where can people get connected to that? Where can I get connected to that?
Yeah, just go to the link in my Instagram, and you'll just put your name, email, and phone number, and then you'll just get daily reminders to the link. And come and hang with us, dude. You'll watch guys just breaking down and going through their life, you know, and having a place where they can just be real and honest about what they're going through. And there's literally no judgment in there, and we all just keep it real and fillet ourselves in there.
That room's it's open to anybody.
Anybody.
Like some of the boys in this Kingsman Collective and the God's Warriors.
Absolutely. Now, just remember, I'm a heretic. Yeah. So I'm going to drop some. Well, they probably know you.
There are kinds of people I wouldn't be in it.
We went in, you know, we went, one of the guys brought up like, Christ consciousness and that whole side of things. And I like to delve into both, but I think there's truth to both sides. I think both sides get, you know, the religious guys go way too far. And I think the Christ consciousness people go way too far into them becoming God. But I think there's a middle ground between this stuff where you can take understanding from both sides, understanding that we have this book, right? And then we're trying to be the decipher of the book. It's like, you don't know. Yeah, so just poke around and learn and listen to other people. But religion gets people so, you know, you'll see in the group when guys come in self-righteous, they get slapped a little bit with some love. They get slapped real quick. Like, hey, you know, you don't know what the fuck any of this even means, right? Like, we don't judge people. We got guys in there that are atheists. We got guys in there that swing towards their family's Buddhist beliefs or whatever. I don't care. Believe what you want. Come in. I'll share what I see. You share what you see. And we try to come to a conclusion.
Perfect. Last question for me, dude. Name the punk rock bands. I need to know. I mean, obviously you've been in Orange County, so there's going to be some Adolescents and some stuff in there, but what's your punk rock?
Yeah, I mean, it was like pretty standard. Like, I mean, I played the trumpet in a punk band, right? So I was in that crossover, right, of ska and punk.
Like that Link 80 Voodoo Glow Skulls kind of vibe.
Yeah, and so I sang and played trumpet, and so we had a little ska, just a touch of ska vibe in there, you know. But I got into that Real Big Fish stuff because I was a brass player. NoFX had their little trumpeter every once in a while, you know. Which
you got to throw boss stones in that kind of mix sometimes.
Yeah. But more of the punk side of ska.
Okay.
Was like my vibe.
Cool. Fucking name.
Here in your bedroom.
That's it.
You know,
some Goldfinger shit, dude. There we go.
I love Goldfinger.
Goldfinger's great, dude. That's one of the best snare drum sounds out there, dude.
Yeah, still rocking, dude.
Fucking A. Well, awesome, Kyle, man. I appreciate your time, bro. And we're going to run this shit back, man. I appreciate everything you said.
Thanks for having me.
And